Hey, everybody. I'm Chad Eckert, and that's Joe Idone. This is the Preferred Lines podcast, streaming live as we do each and every Monday evening, having a beer, talking some golf. Cheers.
Cheers. Major season is over. Jason Sobel put out the most disappointing tweet yesterday that I had seen in a long time about having like 6 majors in 300 days, and now it's like 260 until the next one. So sad times.
Yeah, seriously. I mean,
buzzkill.
You know, we got this Olympic stuff coming up, and I'm not that sure about that. And then the Ryder Cup, is always fun. That's great. That's content, and that's good stuff. But yeah, it's kind of like, oh, wait, it's the end of the season. It's like before we really can get hyped again, Tiger Woods might be alive for the Augusta Masters next April.
Where did this news come out?
I don't know.
Did I miss that today?
No, that's in my head.
Oh, that's in your head. I was going to say that's major news if that's come out.
No, the next major might include Tiger because it's so far away from now, Joe. I mean, I could, get hit by a car and heal and be fine by April.
Okay.
Maybe
9 months. I'm not going to rule them out. But the Olympics, all right, let's talk about the Olympics real quickly for a second, because the only reason we're going to be into this thing is for if Siwoo or Sungjae get a medal, right? That's all that matters. If I'm those guys, there are some handshake deals going on behind the scenes because this is this guy's life. Not the military service, but how do you resume a career after 3 years off of golf at the highest level? This ain't podcasting or real estate or like a sales job that he can just hop back into. He's done. These guys are great, and their career's over. So that's the only thing that matters, I think, for the Olympics to me. I hope that they win. And what does it mean for Justin Thomas to get a bronze medal? Nothing, right? Mail it in if Siwoo was up there.
Yeah, miss a putt.
Right?
We can get, we'll see if there's a 12-footer that looks, or even maybe like a 4-footer that someone's looks over at Sungjae and misses it.
I know.
I don't know how. I don't even know if it's match play. I don't know how that Olympics work. We'll have to look into that. Stroke play all the way. Yeah. So
normal stroke play event. Yeah.
It's hard to rig that stuff, but you never know. Could happen. We are a podcast that is sponsored in part by our friends at the Jock Market. It's an app. It's on all app stores. It's fun. It's a stock market for athletes. And actually, the 3M Open might be a perfect opportunity for someone to join the Jock Market and have some fun and not even need to know anything or be smart. All you do, Joe, is you show up to you and Rick's show on YouTube. You just log into that. You hear from you and Rick, and you just listen to that. Then at about 9:25, or is it 9:25 Eastern time, where it starts to get a little juicy? Mm-hmm. And after that, right around at 9:40, you start making bids. 9:45, you adjust, and then you just look at this app. Whoever's cheap, that you're like, why is nobody wanting this guy? Then you just bid on that guy. Boom, 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 boom. Especially for a 3M Open style field, right, Joe? Because anything can happen in this.
So it's like the ultimate. We talk about it a lot with having just buy low spots on guys. Last week, I got Tony Finau shares, the lowest price that Tony Finau has ever been in the Jock Market over 25 of these things that he's been in. And he was the lowest price he's ever been. So it was rock bottom, short, on sale. Give me Tony Finau. That's kind of how I do it. So you can play it however you want, but fun app, promo code below, sign up if you haven't tried it already. Good stuff.
And you can chat along because this is live. We're on the internet, and then we'll be on iTunes later. Subscribe there. We got people in the chat. We've got Jesse here. What's going on, Jesse?
What up, buddy?
Yep. I did cash a mega profit on Morikawa, so that was fun. That's why I enjoyed the Open Championship, Joe. But you didn't like it as much. Is it because Brooks wasn't winning? If Brooks would have won, you'd have liked it more.
Of course, I would have liked it more. But no, I don't know. I don't know if I want to even say this on the show because I shouldn't, but I didn't really find a whole lot of enjoyment in watching it. It was nice out. guys were shooting low scores. It felt like the biggest thing that irked me in terms of it being a major championship is it never felt like bogey was in play. Like it even for Morikawa coming down the stretch, like the other majors, the PGA did a great job of it. Like those majors where the winning score is 6 under, 5 under, 4 under par, where guys are struggling. I like to see that. This didn't have that, and they were quick to sort of blame it on the weather and the wind not being there. But I don't know that that's necessarily the case. It was soft. The fairways weren't running out at all. The rough was down. The greens were slow. Like there were so many things that they could have done to make it hard, and they just didn't do. And it resulted in, the worst major of the year for me.
The iron.
That's it.
The iron play fest. Honestly, like the leaderboard was hilariously riddled with bad putters, which it can be equated to the fact that we're putting on carpet. I mean, it was crazy how slow those greens were, where everybody can make every 12-footer, and Colin Morikawa could make these circus style putts up and down hills for birdie in clutch situations. Like, come on, that seems like Tiger was probably rolling over in his bed at home, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was frustrating because it was basically like, is he going to make birdie? Okay, didn't make birdie. It's a par. It's a tap-in par on every hole. Like getting up and down wasn't hard. Getting out of those little pop bunkers wasn't hard. And the greens were easy. So like there was no 3-putting. It was just, congrats to Colin Morikawa. I don't want to take anything away from him. I'm just saying from a viewing golf fan experience, it didn't hold a candle to the other 3 majors.
When you would go in the rough, like a DJ was in the middle of the rough, in the middle of nowhere with, no chance, it looked like, and he hits it to 5 feet. You're like,
I know.
That seems odd.
I noticed it right away on Thursday because I had Cam Smith and he was in that first group and he hit no fairways. And there was all this made of that, like Tiger tripled the opening hole back in 2003 or he would have won and it was a lost ball. And it was like, they were just finding it somewhere in there and making par. Sometimes birdie out of that stuff. So, and
then Josh Bennett and I talked about this for a little bit about how no one ever hit it into any bunker. And we were texting about that prior to the tournament. Like, are these bunkers legitimate? Do I need a bunker guy? And did you ever really have any concern? There was a Lowry had one shot where he had to punch it out. Otherwise, I really didn't. There wasn't like, look at this guy got screwed and look at this guy got screwed. I didn't see a lot of people getting screwed in those bunkers.
I think Molinari had a little bit of a situation, but like,
yeah. Well, he tried to get out like an asshole a couple times, and then he decided to take his lumps.
I think back to like Carnoustie. Like the weather wasn't horrible at Carnoustie, but that thing was just baked out to the max.
Yeah.
And like those little pop bunkers, like the fairway would all kind of slope, even though they were small in size. The fairway areas around them would all slope into them. So you could be right down the middle, catch a little ridge, all the way into the pop bunker. There just wasn't any of that. So I think it was a course setup issue. I don't think it was the actual course. I think it was not set up to be the proper test that the Open Championship could be and should be. And that's my sort of stance on it.
What I took away and what I learned was that you just need to know a good iron player is always going to be a good bet or someone to consider, especially when there's a lot of the unknowns. So you kind of didn't know the weather was going to be bad or good. You didn't know the course was going to be a bomber's course or not. You kind of you weren't told that these greens were going to be Velcro. No one told me that. If I'd known that, I'd have been all over Corey Connors and these bad putters. But so we did. So when you don't know a lot of the variables, which is almost every week, you just should side with these elite iron players. Yeah. And in a situation like this, it's like you go back to the creativity. Who's creative on tour? And a lot of the most creative guys did rise to the top, the Spieths, the Rahms, and the Morikawa.
Yeah, the best players, right? I mean, we weren't playing Colin because I guess the reason I didn't play Colin is because I thought like the test that you have to pass in the exam that is typically given by the RNA to a player wasn't the same test that it's been in years past. So like I'm expecting certain questions to be asked of a player, and is he going to be able to answer it correctly? Just didn't feel that with Colin. It was much like hit it in the fairway, which he always does, and fairways and greens, man. That's all it was. And there wasn't like that creativity and experience and like the things that we've seen in the past that play a huge role and a little bit of luck. Yeah.
No, I will say it could have been shit weather. It could have been really craziness. And I think Holland, had he played that well and put it that well, no matter what the conditions were, probably would have won. I think he just was elite for 4 days, and it was crazy.
He's great. And I may be a little bit butthurt because I didn't bet him on either of his majors, and you had him on both. So congratulations to you.
And I had the house on him at the WGC. I've made so much money on this Colin Morikawa guy that he's for sure my favorite player. And hello, what's up, everybody in the chat? We're about to get to the betting board here at the 3M Open, but it's the 3M Open. So we wanted to reflect on the Open, the last major in 260 some days. Who's in here? Do you worry about the guys that have to head off to the Olympics before this week? I mean, we got a couple guys doing that, but we've seen that doesn't necessarily matter. We saw Berger come over to the Open after playing, and it doesn't matter, going back and forth. Do you care about that?
Yeah, I don't know. Are there any guys that just came from the Open to this, then Olympics? I don't know. I mean, maybe like Herbert or something is like someone I'm thinking that could potentially be in that role. I'm not totally sure, but yeah, obviously I think that it's not a plus to have to deal with a transatlantic flight like back-to-back weeks, especially coming off of a major championship lull. It's a tough spot for the 3M. I'm surprised that they got the field that they did. We'll see if it stays this way or if we get any withdrawals at the top because Dustin, Louis, Finau, I could easily see them all sort of skipping this week, but they're there. So good for them, and I hope they stay.
Hey, look, my dad's in here, Mike Eckert. Hey, Mike. Just kidding. Sully's in here. Brian's in here, and in fact, I might be making an appearance on Brian's show. I'll be out at the 3M Open TPC Twin Cities tomorrow for the practice round, and I'll do a report with Brian on his podcast. Go find Brian on Twitter, Brian Kirshner. All right, Fran Millionaire's in here. He says, let's go, because it's like, come on, dude, get to the betting board for this tournament. When at the tippity tip top, you've got Dustin Johnson at 7-1. He's still in the field, and it is almost after 9 o'clock Eastern time here on Monday night, and we've got Dustin Johnson still in the field. You got Louis Oosthuizen also still here in the field, showing that maybe they just want to carry over their form. They need the FedEx Cup points. They're going for that maybe they're going for a Ryder Cup. DJ needs, I don't know, why was he here? Either way, Louis at 11, and so Finau at 14. You got another guy, Patrick Reed, under 20-1. Did you go to the top of the board, Joe?
No, I did not. Did you, Chad?
No, I have not, and I don't think I will. I will on draft
either. I wanted to bet Finau here, but I don't want him at 14-1, and I'm considering like starting a lot of DraftKings lineups with him, but just the ability to make birdies on easy courses. He rated out number 1 in birdie or better rate. Course history here, finished 3rd here last year, which, God, if you remember that, like you probably do because it's in your home state, but he should have won that freaking thing. He had to duel Michael Thompson and Richie Warinsky, I think, in order to take him down. And it's just a shame that he didn't get that done. Played much better at the Open last week, I think 14th there. So, we don't have the strokes gain data, but obviously the iron play from my eyes told me that it was much more spot on. It seemed to be kick it to Tony Finau with a nice 15-foot look for birdie quite often on the show. So, I would lean Finau, but I don't have a whole lot of interest in backing any one of these guys sub 25-1.
Yeah. To be quite honest, like I think I could end up waiting on these names, and even if like Tony's up by 3 strokes Friday afternoon and he's looking hot, or even like Saturday he's looking good, I could do a live bet on a Tony then and just take my lumps and get my money back for the week and have a winning ticket on Tony and feel good about it, kind of thing. So maybe I'll do that if I really wanted to get in on Tony and I could see it happening in front of my eyes. But I didn't do it. I went down into the 20s. I went to my guys, dude. Didn't you? Did you go to Cameron Tringali at 25? You got Robert McIntyre at 28, into the 30s, Matt Wolff, Bubba Watson. They're 30-35. Grillo's 35. Same with Garcia. Hello. Let's go with Tringali and Wolf. That's like my brand. If you want to talk about people's brands. They're my brand because I just love them all. I actually could probably make a case that Patrick Reed's my brand. He's there too, but I didn't bet him. I'm going with Tringali and Wolf. Did you do those guys? Everyone's doing those guys?
I am definitely not doing Tringali. I probably will do Wolf. This is my biggest hit ever at this event in 2020.
What's reopen?
Yeah, when Wolf won. So I may have to go back to him. He's very volatile and hit or miss, and I just think this is one of those hit spots for him. I don't love the number because I wish that he was playing more and playing better, more consistently. But the course sets up great for him, right? Wide fairways, keep it out of the water. When he won here, he did it all with the irons, which if you look at like Matt Wolff's good performances, it's not the driver that's like getting him top fives. It's his iron play. Like that's when he plays really well. I think that should suit him very nicely. Makes eagles. Like there's 3 long par fives, but they are eagleable holes. He eagled the final hole to win that week against Bryson and Mork. What an event that was. Like actually for the first 3 I've opened, when we look back at those 3 on the leaderboard.
Hindsight is so great.
But yeah, so I think that he can, he has a great birdie or better rate Eagles. Like he made a ton of birdies at the US Open. I think this is a good fit for him. I haven't pulled the trigger quite yet, but he'd be my guy.
Yeah. And now, do you get scared off of a public bet? Do we care that everyone is on Tringali? And because last year, if you recall, at the 3M Open, we had a guy that was a golden gopher named Erik Van Rooyen, who was about 25 to 30 to 1, and everybody was on him. This is Erik Van Rooyen's time. This is kind of feeling like that with Tringali. So I don't know if I can put a house on Tringali, but I don't want to miss it either. I have FOMO.
He's been playing so well for so long. I don't know that like the outright betting, which is what we're talking about, is like the greatest place to go with Cam Tringali. Sure. I think Jock Market, DraftKings, top 10, like matchup plays, he should be solid in all of those because I don't think he's going to play poorly. But I think someone like Wolf, or even right down below Wolf, who's the only guy that I've bet so far at 40 to 1, they could like. I can see them winning a lot more times than I see Cam Tringali winning.
Who did you bet at 40 to 1?
Bubba.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
why?
I took Bubba because his approach play has gotten a ton better. He has steady improvement. If you look at sort of any rolling report on approach play, which, from the research that I did should be the number one stat you should be looking at this week in terms of correlation to success, his like everything's trending in the right direction. Every step along the way, he's getting a little bit better with his irons. It's starting to come around. I think there's a lot of water in play, but sometimes I think that can like create lines for Bubba off the tee and like help sort of shape holes to sort of suit his eye. Obviously, there's some strong correlations between the Rocket Mortgage and this event. Mm-hmm. We saw Wolf and Bryson basically duel at both of them. Yeah, he just played really well there. I think he finished 6th at the Rocket Mortgage, was scheduled to go to the Open, could not because he came into contact with someone who had COVID, so he's rested of all the top names here. That's why I like Wolf and Bubba, but I've only bet Bubba thus far.
Okay. Yeah, I could definitely see Bubba, but it's Bubba or bust, that with Bubba, where he'll hit a 2 in the water, and then he'll stop caring. He'll be like, no, Ted, you don't need to read this line anymore. I don't care.
Yes, he could it could very well be bust territory. That's why I said Tringali is like much safer in every other one. But I think in terms of they play this thing 100 times, who's going to win more of them? I think it's Bubba.
Yeah, I do kind of feel like it's not going to be someone from the top of the board because of the energy that they've had to expend, and maybe they're ready for a break and they're looking in the I think there's a rule that PGA Tour requires each person to play a tournament every 5 years. I believe that they have to do that. So people might be just checking boxes. And this is the type of thing we've talked about this in the past where you want to be that Cameron Davis made a name for himself and became a name, he's got his tour card by winning that little tournament. People will do that. They'll do that for this 3M Open. Will Griot do it, or will a guy down here more like McNeil or a Lebioda? Or are we going to get a guy that – listen, those names are they've been playing great golf, and Lebiota's been your guy. Should we go to Lebiota at 50?
I'm not okay.
No,
I've said this a couple of times in a row. I think shows that like I'm gonna ride this train for one more week on Lebiota. I'm gonna do it again.
Oh,
I bet him at 50-1. I'm not ready. Like a lot of it came to me when like I saw Seamus Power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because everything was like power. Like he's playing so well. He's gonna get it done. He gets it done. Lebiota's been unbelievable, man. And like, not to mention, I just comped sort of the Rocket Mortgage. He's got 2, I believe, top 30s here in the first 2 years. So solid course history to back that up as well. I think I like, of course, I'm going to go back to him here. I actually considered going back to Cam Davis as well, who I don't mind, who elected not to play in the Open last week. I think he got married. So good for him. Maybe he comes in good, but this is a perfect course for him as well. Wide fairways, be aggressive. But yeah, Lebiota was the second pull for me. Are you on him as well?
You know, I haven't decided on that. I would rather go with McNeely because that's who I've been sort of riding more like he's my Lebiota to you. But before we get past the veteran names of Keegan and Ricky, are we gonna? I mean, they're like historically good names at decent betting numbers that could just sneak out a win in a season where you've seen this happen.
Yeah, I may even do this before we get off the show, but I'm coming around to Keegan Bradley quite a bit.
Okay.
He's just everything that I look at, like greens in regulation, he's third. Approach, he's fourth. Approach really short term, he's third. He's first in opportunities gained. He's fourth in ball striking. He's 15th in Birdie Fest. Just played pretty well at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. Like it all felt like it was really coming for Keegan, and then Sam Burns like stole it from him.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, if you remember with Burns, like it felt like it was coming for him, and then there was a little bit of a lull and then a breakthrough. Like I think it could be a good spot for Keegan. I'm coming around to that play quite a bit. I'm not ready to start backing Ricky quite yet.
Yeah, me neither. He's just too inconsistent. Fowler doesn't do it enough in a row to give me anything. So I'm just gonna keep going down the board because I do feel like we need to get more into the long shots in this tournament because Lucas Herbert's playing great golf and has won over on the Euro Tour. I don't know if I've got any excitement for that at 50-1, or you got Gary Woodlands at 50-1, and he's been really wishy-washy. He's kind of figuring himself out. Maybe he needs a break. Schwartzel, that's a strange number at 55-1, but he's competed at the 3M Open, I believe, last year too. Now, Kirk at 60, we saw Kirk have flashes earlier this season. Is Kirk at 60? Does that have any interest to you?
Yeah, I actually see a 70, and there is some interest for me.
He's good.
Approach play has been pretty solid for him. Missed the cut last week at the Open, which I didn't even really realize that he was in the field there.
Yeah.
But a 12th at the Rocket Mortgage before that. Some good finishes this season, sort of on these, Valero, RBC, Honda, these tournaments where we typically see a lot of birdies. So I think that this could be a good setup. I see some 70s out there on Chris Kirk. I wanted to bet Gary Woodland. Like he really just sticks off the page. Like he's highlighted there, but it's been bad. And I same with Ricky. I feel like he's getting a little bit of an inflation because of the name. I'm not quite ready to do it on Gary. What about Luke List?
Yeah.
Did we get to Luke List yet?
I haven't got dude, I will love Luke List. 65-1. That's a great number.
I figured you would for some reason.
I do kind of want to take into consideration what happened last week and at the Barbasol. So I did look at the stats for that, and he had some good stats there. He was up there. There's some names further down that were even better that I'm excited about at higher odds. Luke List, he's kind of one of those guys that's due to get the win. He's got a little bit of a maturity to him. I think he's in his early 30s. He's kind of one of those guys. But Joe, is he one of those guys that you're like, this is who he is? He'll always get to that fourth or fifth in the leaderboard, and he'll look up there and he'll go, oh God, I got to make this 8-footer. And he misses it every time.
Yeah, it's easier to get behind those guys at bigger numbers. Like there's going to be an interesting case this week on two guys. I think it's List and I think it's Johnny Vegas. I think they're both going to be popular. They both have all the reason to be popular. but their track record recently in terms of coming through and winning isn't great. So it's easy to take a stand on these guys at 80, at 100, at 125 to 1. It's a little tougher. Like, those numbers aren't bad. I'm seeing like some 55s on both of them. So it'll be interesting. They're going to be very popular, both in the betting markets on DraftKings. So we'll kind of see where things shake out on them. I don't know that I'm quite there with either one of them, to be honest.
Yeah. It feels like all of these names are kind of the same. And so I'd rather have a 100 in front of it, is what you're basically getting down to. Now, Stuart Sink ruined and synced a bunch of lineups for people last week at the Open. 65 to 1 there. He's a 2-time winner on tour this season. He's 65 to 1. That seems strange.
Yeah. Not ready to go to Sink after last week. Yeah, not for me.
Okay. Kazire's been playing good golf. Stanley's been playing good golf. They're 65-70. You got Charles Howell III, who, feels kind of like a Michael Thompson in a way. Could come in here out of the nowhere and win. Troy Merritt played good golf recently. He's a Minnesota guy in a way. I think he went to Spring Lake Park High School. He pretends he's a Minnesotan. I don't know if he's really one of us, but either way. He's there at 75 to 1, Troy Merritt. And then Joel Damon, 80 to 1. Dude won a golf tournament a little bit ago. He's playing okay. Richard Winsky was the guy involved last year in the little bit of the end there with Michael Thompson, a duel. They're at 80 to 1, but I don't even know if I like any of these names. I could go even further down and get more excited.
I bet Troy Merritt.
Okay.
I had no idea he was a Minnesota guy, but I'll take that. But I'm really I'm kind of attacking this angle of the Rocket Mortgage. So he played well there. I felt like he played well enough to win and just happened to lose in a playoff. So he makes a ton of birdies. I have some stuff. Let me see what I had pulled up, because I had a couple of things circled on Merritt. So a great putter right now, obviously. Strokes gained putting on bent. He's sixth. Sixth in birdies or better gained. You don't have to worry about him. He's accurate off the tee, so hopefully you shouldn't find a lot of trouble in the water, because there are some blow-up holes out here. Like we saw DJ eject. We saw Eric Van Rooyen eject. Like, we see like potential 75, 76s out there, as much as it is a birdie fest. There's guys that are going to go 3-4 over. So there's a tough balance. Like, if you're long and you want to overpower it, it's got to be your week, right? There's another way to play it, which is sort of the Michael Thompson and the Wawrinski method, which is just hit every fairway and play it like a typical TPC approach, which is point at the flagstick, aim, and fire.
Exactly. I didn't do anything like this. I didn't do the JT Postins that were alive last week. Steve Stricker's here and Rogers is here. Kuchar's playing at 90 to 1. Michael Thompson, the defending champion, is 100 to 1. That's interesting. This is where I get excited, is when I see a 100 to 1 on Adam Schenk. You do have 130 on EVR. Holy Lord, I didn't even see that. That wasn't even what I was excited about. I mean, Bo Hoag's played good with his irons. Where's Sam Ryder? There's Sam Ryder. Sam Ryder. Oh, my gosh.
There's your boy.
Dude, I'm excited about Sam Ryder because I saw how he played at the Barbasol last week. Sam Ryder was the best in the field with his approaches. Sam Ryder led the Barbasol with 11 strokes gained on approaches, dude. It was great. He was there. It's just on a fire. And he gets this way, and he will sustain it for more than one tournament. So I'm excited about that. Dude, Satoshi Kodaira was also good with his irons. He's here. It's 150 to 1. I mean, we're getting juicy numbers. Are you excited about Cameron Champ as much as I am? If Wolf can win, Champ can win.
You read my mind, buddy. So I did bet him. He's my only guy that I've taken 100 plus so far. I think I got 140 to 1. So 150 on DraftKings is a great price. There's a
150. That's ridiculous. That's an insult.
Him winning, and it's the same way that Wolf and Bryson won, which is have a good approach week. Should have some confidence coming off the John Deere Classic where he finished 11th. It was great tee to green, gained a couple of strokes putting on those sort of, Midwest bent surfaces. So hopefully he can have another good week a la, the John Deere Classic in a similar field, in a similar type of environment where he's going to need to go out and make a lot of birdies. So said that his game is in a really good spot. I'm going to take his word for it and take a flyer on 150 or 140 to 1 on Champ.
Now, I may not think that these guys can win, but you get a top 5 number here, which is ridiculous. It's awesome. Or you just go with the top 10. You get a 14-1 on Keith Mitchell, who has performed, shown up, and done things, and has been top 10 a few different times. And at 14-1, I could see him do it. I could see Matthew Neesmith also at 14-1 to do it. You got Roger Sloan, played really well last week, and he's played really well all season. So he's at 14-1 for a top 10. I mean, are you interested in Austin Eckert again? Are we going to go back down to the Eckert? I like his initials, the first 3 letters of his name.
I have not taken Eckert. I haven't taken anyone else in this range yet. I haven't dove too much into it yet, to be honest.
What about James Honey? It shot a 60 last week.
Yeah, and there's your boy. I guarantee that your boy Quagness is on Tom Hoagie this week.
Yeah. Now, we've talked about Tom Hoagie in these birdie fests, and especially the ones that are in Minnesota or in the Midwest, because he's kind of used to that. And we know now Martins claims that he knows some guy that knows Tom and like texts Tom or whatever. I don't know if I believe that, but we're told by this person that Tom has a problem being safe and conservative. And Tom's problem is that he can't just go for birdies. And like his caddy will be like, "This is a par hole, Tom." And he'll be like, "It's never a par hole, man." And we're like, "Yeah, dude, you got to do par every once in a while." So, but Tom's like, "No, birdie every time." So that's a great DraftKings play or a first round leader play. So I'm telling you, when this kid told us this, we were like, wow, okay, whatever. We don't believe you, but okay. I was watching this for a long time, and Tom Hoagie will pop first round leader or will show up and he'll be hot fire for a really long time in the tournament. And you'll be like, Tom Hoagie's up here? Where the hell did he come from? It's because he's made 8 birdies in a row. He's on fire. But then he will miss a couple and he'll just disappear because then he'll press and he'll try to get even closer and he will never go for par. So Tom Hoagie, maybe you do it and it could be his week.
Maybe.
Good story.
Good story.
Okay. Are we done here? I mean, I don't know about any of these.
Yeah, we're done. Why was the show late today? Like, you never spilled the beans to me. Are you?
Oh yeah, Joe tweets out like 2 minutes after. I'm like, this isn't gonna happen in time, dude, because my family's behind. And you're like, 30 minutes, we're going live. I was like, 30 minutes, man. I don't think I can make 30 minutes because if you don't know me, my wife is 6 months pregnant right now or whatever. Like, she's in the big time midst of being annoyingly pregnant, and it's mid-July and it's hot as shit out. There's not a lot going on. I got 2 other kids at home bothering us all the time. So, God, what was the situation? Oh, Joe. Okay. So, yes, I have a asphalt driveway that, you need to seal coat every couple of years. And we haven't done it forever. So we're out there chalking the other day, and it's almost impossible to chalk on this thing because it's just breaking the hell out of these chalk. And so I'm like, okay, we're going to asphalt the driveway. So we get the asphalt driveway done this morning. They come over, they seal it up. I don't know if you've ever seen that process. It's just put this black shit over the top of it.
Yep.
You need to not go on this stuff for 12 hours. 12 hours. So we got, honey, one afternoon, just don't let the dog out. Or let's put it on the leash. So I'm living my life, doing my work all day today. I get home and I'm like, why? I go over to say hi to everybody. I go over to the dog, give the dog a nice rub on the head. And I'm like, why do you smell like asphalt? The dog literally smells like asphalt. I lift the paw up and I'm like, oh my God.
It's
so like all floor. And I didn't even notice when I walked in the house because I was like, look at my cool new driveway. Walking in the house all like proud of my driveway. Didn't notice that after I saw the paws, I looked out the driveway. There's like dog paw prints all over the driveway. So then I'm like, honey, did you forget that you can't let the dog out? So then she's like, are you kidding me? Oh my God. And then so I'm like, okay, I'll try to fix it. And no big deal. I deserved an Oscar today for my performance. Joe, you've been through a pregnant woman twice. So the third time you'll be learning how to read a defense, be a better quarterback. But at the same time, so then I grabbed the dog. He's got 4 paws full of asphalt rocks and they're just black. I'm like, how did you not notice this? It's been like this for a while because it's dry on my dog. So then I put her in the bath upstairs and I'm doing the whole thing. And I'm like, honey, Google how to do this. This is insane. We might have to go to the vet and redo it. Like, I don't know. I'm pulling out straight up giant rocks from my dog's paws. And my dog's the hairiest person ever. The hairiest dog ever. Either way, so we like Google things, we learn things, we're doing things, and like the bathtub is now black, the towels are all black. The bath mat needs to be thrown in the garbage, and she's just having a hell of a day. So then we get to the point where, I'm like, okay, it's 7 for me, 7:05, 7:10. I'm like, I'm pushing. I got to be live on the internet at 7:30. This is now 20 minutes from now. And I'm trying to help with the routine. Like, I'm like, can I give you the routine? I can do whatever I can. So then she's like, it would be really helpful if this was not at 7:30, and I'm like, this can be delayed. This can definitely be delayed. Joe, you just tweeted, but I'm sorry. It's going to be late. So, yeah. And, Bachelor's on, so I'm sure she's upstairs watching Bachelor, not listening to me, hopefully. Rant about her.
I'm sure you're clear.
Not like she watches the pod.
Well, I think that you made the right decision for your family.
I agree.
So good call. A half an hour later, ain't going to kill us. But yeah.
Well, and tell us if you like it this time better. Maybe these West Coast people, they can't watch us live because it's too early or they're still at work or whatever. So maybe we do a couple times where we're later. And you know what? We only have so many shows left before the season's over, Joe.
You're right. I think we counted earlier like 7 left until the Tour Championship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's the Ryder Cup or whatever. And we'll do
coming over. We'll still be around during the fall. We might do a show every now and again. We might just tweet our picks, but 7 weeks. Let's finish strong, buddy. Best of luck at the 3M.
Well, I'm not done for the week for content because I will be live at the 3M Open at the practice round tomorrow. So follow me on Twitter at @EdineRealChi. I'm bringing my son. I'll be there with Josh Bennett. We're gonna scope it out. I'll say, I'll tell you who's doing what on the practice range. I don't know. I'll throw a ball into the rough, which is probably non-existent because it hasn't rained here in 3 months. Oh, and then guess what? I'm going to go on this Brian Kids show tomorrow night. So I'll reveal the house bet on Brian's show early. So if you're interested in who I've got the house on, I'm sure you care so much about that. I'll be saying that on Brian's show tomorrow live at about this time. Anyway, Joe, good to see you.
Good to see you, buddy.
Let's cash another mega profit, baby, because we are winners here at the Preferred Lines Podcast. Like and subscribe, rate, and review. Follow us every week and cash those mega profit tickets, baby.
Later. Peace. Later, gang.
Peace out, Joe.